Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Leo energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people are going to harness high vibe Leo energy. They're going to be authentic, warm, bold, brave, inspired by hope and faith and belief in their dreams and love. And some other people harness a more worldly focused Leo energy. They could be more caught up in things of the world they want to indulge in, or more about themselves or ego or image or money and materialism. And then some people harness shadowy Leo energy. They try to create the illusion that there's something they're not, and it's just to try to manipulate people to work together with them in some shape or form for their own kind of selfish, greedy, prideful reasons, you know? And it's just to see the truth of where people are at in the world. You know, life's about learning lessons. Some people have learned more lessons than other people. Some people still have a lot of things that manipulate them. Yeah. The reason for the reading is some people put a lot of work and effort into trying to imprison other people with them. I'm going to try to make you give up your dreams and quit listening to your intuition and quit loving yourself, because I want you to work with me. I want you to work with me and stay in a friendship with me or align with me, whether I'm your friend, a family member, or a romantic interest. Other people put in work and effort to free themselves from the things that manipulate them. I don't want to keep letting my more immature, impulsive nature run my life. I don't want my prideful, egotistical nature to run my life. I don't want my fear and my insecurity to run my life. Other people put in work and effort to free themselves from the things that manipulate them, and some people don't. It takes work and effort. You have to want to deal with the truth. You have to be inspired to even want to work through those things, and some people don't. And we just need to see the truth of it. Who has put in work and effort to free themselves, and who hasn't? And who just wants to work with other people that have freed themselves from those things, who are loving and giving and nurturing, and they want to work with them because they're not in that energy. And it's great to be in a relationship with people who are like that, but they're not like that. And they're hoping you'll work with them anyway, even if they're bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical or immature or whatever. And some high vibe people are like, you know, I can offer love and encouragement to people to free themselves, but the only person who can free you is you. And until you do that work and effort, I might have to communicate to you that I feel like you're not who you present yourself to be. And I don't want to keep exchanging time, energy, effort, and resources with you. You know, I want to work with people who freed themselves from their shadowy nature so they can be open to give and receive love. So, what's going on in Leo energy? That's kind of the overarching reason. The other people are going to keep communicating basically with their shadow nature, that they want to keep working with their shadow nature. And they're hoping to find someone that they can manipulate into exchanging time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses with them. That's our plan. So, the card that came out to start is the Lover's card sideways, and the reason is because of sudden wealth. What is our truth? Some people, maybe some people aren't in a romantic relationship right now. They'd like to be in a romantic relationship, but, you know, they know their own worth and value, and they're very abundant within themselves. Other people might be or not be in a romantic relationship, but it could be their more worldly nature that drives the decisions that they make. Other things that they view as being abundant, like, I don't know that I want to do love. I get hurt doing love, you know, but I want to have some of the things that come from being in a relationship with people. I just don't know that I want to do love, but if it's good for my status and my image and I get to indulge in a relationship, that works for me. Some people are trying to free themselves from, you know, we can have love for people and we don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. I'm going to keep my distance from you. And those people are doing this work to detach from some of those people, even if it's just emotionally. You know, it's one thing to quit being in a relationship with someone, then it takes time to really emotionally detach so that we're no longer kind of in emotionally invested in that connection and we freed ourselves from it. Then we have the main female, and the way I read tarot, and this is a Kipper deck, but same thing, is that we can all present ourselves any way we want to in the world. People can present themselves as these stable, grounded, nurturing, loving, balanced people, but are they? What emotionally are they aligned with within themselves? We have free will. Are we aligned? Are we truly who we say we are? That would be high vibe Leo. I am authentically who I say I am. Or am I operating more from my ego emotionally? You know, what foundation? The community card can talk about what foundation we're operating from. We have free will. We either pick a path or we're juggling back and forth. The high vibe people have done this work to free themselves, and they are authentically who they say they are. And the other people are still probably operating from their ego, and some other people could still be kind of going back and forth. Then we have the house card, the despair card, the courtship card. And the reason those came out is because of the distant horizons. Well, the high vibe people are inspired to work through the regrets of the past. I kind of view the despair card as like a Five of Cups card, and then the courtship card could be more like a Two of Cups card, to get out of the Three of Cups, to quit being in regret about people who you feel were emotionally manipulative in some way. They use their emotions in a more manipulative way. And you could have viewed them as someone that you were going to have your dreams come into reality. You thought they were going to be your friend forever. You thought you were going to move forward in life together. Again, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a romantic interest. And the house card I view as like the Four of Wands card. High vibe people are making good decisions in their life. They're inspired to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And so they're taking this inspired action to pick up anchor in where they have been and offer love to themselves, emotionally offering love to their foundation, offering love to their own worldly nature. We all have our worldly nature. We do have our fears. We have our insecurities. We have our self-limiting beliefs. Love. And that's the sudden wealth that people have. I realize I need to love me, because otherwise I'm going to stay in relationships and workplaces and friendships with people who make me sad. And I keep moving forward with them in a relationship. And I don't want to. I don't want to keep. Why do I stay in relationships with people who don't treat me in a just and fair manner? Who emotionally might operate in shadowy Leo energy where they're manipulative or prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or trying to use the love that I have for them to manipulate me. Loving people shouldn't want me to be sad. But that is sometimes what some people do. I want to wear you down. I don't want you to love and believe in yourself. I want you to stay in this relationship with me, and I don't care if you're sad or not. Because I just want someone to be in a relationship with. I don't want to have to go find a new relationship either. But I just don't care how you feel, because it's really more about me. And some people are like, why do I stay here? It seems to be more about them. You're either being truthful and honest and just and fair and treating other people the way you like to be treated, or for some reason you think the scales should be tipped in your favor and that you should get kind of preferential treatment, that it should be more about you. And some people have already seen the truth of it. Some people are dealing with the truth of it right now. And some people are like, oh my God, am I going to keep staying in relationships or at this job when I don't think it's just and fair? Or I maybe don't think it's love, but you know, at least then I'd have a job. At least then I'd be in a friendship. At least then I'd be in a relationship. Am I going to keep putting in work and effort to try to keep encouraging other people to try to get them to change their philosophy of life? How long am I going to try to change somebody's philosophy of life? They have free will. If they've already chosen to live their life a certain way, which can be whatever way they view life and whatever shadowy traits and characteristics, am I going to keep putting in work and effort forever to try to change their philosophy of life? It's hard to change somebody's viewpoint on how they view life, how they view themselves, how they view the world, how they view people they're in relationships with. At what time are we going to tell those people, I'm not going to keep investing in this situation? You know, we've all been there and we've all done that. And part of it, we realize that it starts within me. The only person I can change is me. And everybody has free will to live their life whatever way they want. And so, again, it's kind of from this place of love that if I don't want to live life the way they live it, what they're driven and motivated by is different than what I'm driven and motivated by. If I feel they haven't learned some of these life lessons about how to play nicely with others, at what point am I going to see the truth? Some people won't. Some people will keep putting in the work and effort to try to get other people to change. And some of those people say, that's great. You keep doing that. You're going to keep exchanging time, energy, effort, and hugs and kisses with me, right? Perfect. That works for me. You keep being loving and nurturing and supportive and all those good things. I like that. And I'm going to keep being me. I'm going to keep being immature or prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or not healing. Letting whatever manipulates me keep manipulating me. And that could be other people in my life that I let manipulate me. Oh, are you going to keep staying imprisoned with me? That's great. I'm glad you're going to let whatever that is that manipulates me manipulate you too. That works for me because I haven't freed myself from those things. And I've been looking for someone who would stay imprisoned with me and let those other things or those people manipulate you too. And those things can be the world. It can be addictions. It can be their friends or family, whoever they have in their life that they're not becoming independent of. It could be their defensive nature. It could be their egoic nature. It could be their not just being more authentic and working through why are they defensive and not more open to giving and receiving love. Perfect. You be you and I'll be me. That works for me. Because they kind of get the best of both worlds, right? They kind of get to be shadowy in some regard, and they get someone who's not manipulated by those things, who harnesses high vibe Leo energy, self-disciplined, maintains balance within themselves, doesn't indulge in some of the things that they indulge in a shadowy way. It's like, this is great. So I get to be like this and you'll still be like that. Wow. That's wonderful. This secretly works for me. This makes me look like I have everything that other people have in the world, and I didn't have to be that type of person also. I didn't have to grow up. I didn't have to mature myself. I didn't have to heal. I didn't have to discipline my shadowy nature. I can still let whatever those things or people are, or the world manipulate me still. Because you're willing to keep moving forward with me. That works for me. I'm so glad you decided to do that. And some people are going to do that. For a long time, we can stay in those jobs, those friendships, and those relationships, because we'd like those things to work. We'd rather not go get a different job, a new friend, a new romantic relationship. In a lot of ways, it could look very successful in life. We have a job, we have a friend, we're in a relationship. And it can take a long time for us to debate back and forth within ourselves about if we want to stay or not with the people in our life who we feel are kind of acting a little shadowy in some regard. And we all make those decisions at different times in our life. Some people have already made that decision. Some of those people already listened to their intuition and said, I'm not going to keep. There was these people I could have moved forward with, and I decided I didn't want to move forward with those people anymore, or that person. My idea is that since we live in a world of duality, we can, if someone's creating a little hell on earth, I think high vibe energy is creating a little heaven on earth. We can stay in a little bit of hell, or we can go listen to our intuition. The feminine figures can represent our more emotionally intuitive, loving nature, because the masculine figure can represent us being more in our worldly, egoic nature. It doesn't have anything to do with being male or female. It's just which one do we align with more? Our more worldly nature, represented by the masculine images, or our more emotionally intuitive nature, represented by the feminine figures? What do we align with emotionally? And the high vibe people listened to their intuition and said, if I keep moving forward with these people, shadowy energy represented by the devil are those things that keep us feeling oppressed and confined and imprisoned and enslaved. And, our shadow nature kind of wants us to live our life like that. Oh, don't heal, don't grow, don't mature yourself. Let's just keep making our life like this. Let's keep living life like this. Let's be lazy. Let's indulge ourselves. And then, make our life more about the world, make the life more about our ego and image. Let's not put in the work to love and believe in ourselves and heal. Let's keep hanging out, living our life the way we've been living it. And we can probably find lots of people who are happy we live our life that way, because they live their life that way too. And we can all get in friendships and relationships. We're all at a certain stage of life. We view life a certain way. We're living life a certain way. But when there comes a time that we realize that, kind of a way we've been living our life, it's kind of time to face some of our fears and insecurities about moving forward to the next stage of life. Do I believe in myself? Do I love myself? Am I willing to work through some of my fears and insecurities that I've been kind of dragging with me for a while to free myself from those things? Am I inspired to see the truth that I don't deserve to have those fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that I might have had for the last 5 years, and I want to free myself from those things? Some people did that work within themselves, and they worked through some of their past pain and heartbreak and sadness and grief and feelings of rejection or whatever to love themselves. And they put in this work and effort to kind of transform their life in the pathway card. Mature person. I'm going to put in this work and effort to look at those things that maybe I hadn't wanted to look at for a long time, or I didn't even know I needed to look at, But I kind of realized that it's stopping me from moving forward in life. I do have some fears and insecurities that I want to deal with. So then they start emotionally doing this work within themselves to shed light on those things. High vibe Leo energy. I'm going to bring things out into the light. Why do I think this way? Why do I feel that way? Why do I have these fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs? And, then we have the privileged lady, which is kind of like the Empress energy. Libra Taurus energy. I'm going to offer love. Love is the answer. Love is what helps us heal. Love is what, when we are living our life a certain way, it's great to live our life at a certain stage of life. But then when it's kind of like time for us to move forward and kind of heal and grow and mature ourselves and go to the next stage of life, then because we're resistant, it's kind of like we get tipped out of balance because of our fears and our insecurities. And then we offer love to ourselves to work through those things to get more balance within ourselves. Because If we were to consistently live our life like we did, like when we were an 18-year-old, eventually, the thing is, you go through certain phases of life and there's nothing new to learn there. I've been here, I've done that. I think it's time for me to be more like a 21-year-old, face some of my fears and insecurities, maybe get a new job, maybe go to school, college, whatever, move out, be more independent, and love and believe in myself enough to believe that I can do it, to grow to my full potential. And the people who do that work within themselves, that's when, they go to this next level of life. Just like when you could get in relationships with other people or marry other people, go get a job, the marriage card can just be those things that we align with. And then we have the change card and the child. We keep growing and maturing ourselves throughout our life because we have this hopeful, believing nature that I think I can, But that's not how some people view life. I kind of view the occupation card as kind of like an Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy. We all tap into Virgo energy. What drives and motivates us? What's our long-term goal? Is our long-term goal to free ourselves from the things that manipulate us, free ourselves from some of our past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs? We've all made mistakes in life, in our friendships, in our family dynamics, in our relationships. Do we treat ourselves like a loving parent, a good coach? Do we acknowledge and accept that we're fallible human beings and life is about learning lessons? And we had lessons to learn. We are going to make mistakes. Do we offer ourselves love and compassion that I'm a fallible human being who has a lot of lessons to learn. I'm going to make more mistakes in life. But I'm inspired to learn from those mistakes that I made, to grow and mature myself emotionally. Some people don't. In their Virgo energy, I want these things of the world. I want to have a certain status and image. I want to be in relationships, but I don't want to look at the truth. How did I contribute to some relationships in my life not working out? How did I have to grow and mature myself? What about some of the people I got in relationships with and it didn't work out? Have I seen the truth about some of those people so I don't keep getting in relationships with people who have those same traits and characteristics that I know don't work for me? Or am I going to keep chasing after people staying in denial of the truth that, if we haven't seen the truth, we're going to keep repeating an old pattern of viewing life, viewing ourselves, viewing others, because the truth sets us free. And some people refuse to see the truth. Some people are in shadowy energy, operating more from their defensive, prideful, egotistical nature. Because for some, it's because of some of the people that they worked with in their life. Maybe some of the people they grew up with. Maybe had people in their life who were hurtful, unkind, bossy, controlling, rejecting, manipulative, whatever. Some of those people, they haven't dealt with that. And sometimes it takes kind of getting in relationships with people who subconsciously we didn't even realize they kind of reminded us of those people in a way. And then when we do kind of get in relationships, because I think we're drawn and attracted to people because we have lessons to learn from them. And sometimes we have these things kind of buried in our subconscious and we don't even know why we're drawn and attracted to certain people. Until we do see the truth. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, how long have I known you? And I did not realize you reminded me of maybe someone in my life that I had wanted to love me. And kind of can be things from childhood. There's people in my life that I viewed as loving, but maybe they were kind of more caught up in the world or their ego or their image, and Maybe they really weren't people who were very loving and nurturing, or that wasn't the primary focus in their life. And then I think, though, if we haven't dealt with that and we didn't even know we needed to deal with that issue, because, well, that was a long time ago. Why do I need to deal with that? Yeah, I know that they were kind of like this and that, whatever way of being. But I think until we really get down to the core issue of it and acknowledge it, I felt hurt. I felt rejected. I was sad. Did these people not know that I had this dream of how we were going to get along. And then I think when we grow up, we can kind of be drawn and attracted to people and get in relationships with people and marry people and keep staying in jobs with people because for some reason they kind of have some of those ways of being, and it's kind of like being in our ego a little bit. Like, this time they're going to love me. This time someone who has those traits and characteristics is going to quit being that way and they're going to love me. Because now they're not my friend, they're not my sibling, they're not my parent. This is someone I can be in a relationship with. And when they see how much work and effort I put in, they're going to love me. But the people we chose to get in a relationship with already showed us the truth of who they are. I'm immature, I'm bossy, I'm controlling, I'm manipulative, I'm egotistical, I'm self-centered, I'm, full of myself. And we think we're going to change their philosophy of life and how they do life. Well, they are the type of person they are because as they lived their life, and like everybody, they had to pick and choose what was their truth, and they were choosing this and this and this, and other people were choosing this and this and this. And it's kind of like we view life from different glasses. We do not view life the same. We do not view relationships the same. What we think is just and fair is different. How we view relationships and how we view people we get in relationship with. Some people are more about themselves. Some people are loving. Some people think this is just and fair. Other people think this is just and fair. And there's some people in the world that either they're on this journey because these things still imprison them and they don't realize that some of the people that they're drawn and attracted to is that they're kind of repeating this past pattern, hoping this time judgment will go in their favor. Odds are against it. Because those people are the way they are and they view life the way they view life. And to change someone's philosophy of life it's very, our philosophy of life is like our Taurus energy. It's the Hierophant energy. Those are things that day by day, by day, by day, by day, by day, we viewed life more in favor of hope and faith and belief and love, or more about ourself and our defensive nature, or the world and ego and image. And it can take years to peel back those layers to get people to change a foundational way of viewing life, because it was gradually built over all this time, and it's very hard to change it. And until they kind of have that light bulb moment within themselves, it's probably not going to change. For other people, they haven't learned to love themselves, and they could still be in codependent energy. Oops, let me turn the camera down a little bit, which we've all been in. A pattern of relationship was we were children at one time, and we were in family dynamics, and we were looking to other people to nurture us and fill our cup emotionally and make us feel more stable and grounded. Some people are still in the energy of looking for someone to play that role in their life. I want someone to be like a mother to me or a father to me. I haven't learned to do that for myself. And I'm looking for someone to fill that role. Some people might even want to be in relationships with people who remind them of people that they're no longer in relationship with, or, maybe, those people aren't in their life anymore for some reason. And they miss those people and they want to be in relationships with people who remind them of those people purposely. Because I loved, or that's like my comfort zone. I know how to deal with people who are like that. I don't care if they were an alcoholic. I don't care if they were manipulative. I don't care if they were bossy and controlling. I miss those people, and that's how they live their life. And I want to get in a relationship with someone who reminds me of them. For some of them. For other people, they're just kind of immature and like to be indulged in a relationship. I want to be able to be immature. I want to operate from my more egoic, immature, worldly nature. And I want to find someone who's going to indulge me, kind of like a parent would a child. You'll be loving and nurturing and supportive, and I can keep doing this, right? Perfect. That's just what I wanted. For other people, they don't have hope and faith and belief in themselves. They don't believe they can manifest their dreams into reality. And even if some of those people were in relationships with loving, nurturing people, maybe they felt like, again, a little bit more in their worldly focus. But will we have, some people have a lot of fear about their stability and their security, and so even though they could be in relationships and working together with people where, have some hope and faith and belief that, if you keep taking action and truth and love and listening to your intuition and putting in work and effort, that you will have enough. But for some people, they get so caught up in their fear, their insecurities, that they're not patient and they kind of want what they want now. And they want those things or that status or that stability or that security that they could go get in relationships with people that they feel will have that stability or security that they want. I just don't think it'll work out the way they think. And for some of them, are we willing to sell our soul, our loving nature, our creative nature? Are we willing to sacrifice that? Because this kind of living more from our mind than our heart, this makes practical, logical sense. And then the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. Have we decided that I'm willing to give up a deep, meaningful, loving relationship in order to have these things? Because this is so important to me. And I have a lot of fear and insecurity. I mean, we all want to be in relationships with people who are mature and put in work and effort to maintain balance in their life so they can keep jobs and are motivated and inspired to grow and mature themselves. I mean, sometimes we could have people that we love, but they are kind of, I don't know, immature, and they could do a lot of things that self-sabotage themselves. And some of those people, it's like, I think you have a lot of growing up to do and getting balanced within yourself. And so then I have to make a decision that I think you have a lot of growing up and maturing to do. And though I could love you, I have to take all things into consideration. I can't, just let my heart run my life, just let my mind run my life, just let my passionate nature run my life, let my worldly nature run my life. I have to be a good leader in my own life. And sometimes that requires that we make some difficult decisions. But, hopefully we're truthful and honest about the situation and we're not being deceptive and manipulative. But some people were. Some people were like, I'm more about the ego and the image and the money and the materialism, or somebody who will indulge me, or someone who will indulge me in my ego, or someone who has the status or the image, and I think they'll also indulge me in me being where maybe I don't have to deal with my past pain and heartbreak or grow or mature myself. And some of those people, as time goes by, I think they realize that, they could have thought, a relationship's a relationship. I'm going to have sex with somebody. So I'll just have sex with this person. And some people in their fiery nature, Leo's fire energy, some people still had lessons to learn about, sex doesn't equate to love. And, you notice it when you get in a relationship with someone who might be in a relationship with you more for the status or the image or the money or the materialism or because you're attractive or because you're charming or it works for them, but it's not really love. I think at some future point, those people will realize it. Some people are realizing it now. Some people are realizing that they're in relationships with people that might want to work with them, but why? Why do you want to work with me? Well, because if we stay in this relationship, it'll make me seem like I have justice in the world, that I have this status or this image. I'm in a relationship with you, with whatever it is you bring to the table. Are you attractive? Are you charming? Do you have money? I'm just in a relationship. I just want to be in a relationship. But emotionally, they could be people who it's like, but I don't really want to do love. Just being in the relationship with you alone makes it look like I've transformed my life, like I've given birth to something new. But I really don't do love. I never change. But if you haven't seen the truth of that, and maybe in my shadowy, more Libra Taurus energy, this is how I view life. This is how I view relationships. I think this is just and fair. I might not have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. I might not have learned to love myself. But if I stay in a relationship with you, it looks like I'm a different person from any other past relationship I could have been in. Looks like I've changed. Look like I've grown. Look like I've matured. But for some of them, they haven't. It's just to go get in another relationship to make it look like they have. Because shadowy energy is about just trying to create this illusion that they're a more healed, emotionally mature, stable, grounded person than they are. I want to get this new job. I want to get this in this new friendship. I want to get in this new relationship or keep moving forward with the one I'm in because it makes it look really good by worldly standards. But some of the people that could be friends with them, had hope and faith and belief that this was going to transform over time. We could have all had these certain ways of viewing life, viewing the world, viewing how we view relationships, what drove and motivate us, but are we over time going to deal with some of our issues to free ourselves from those things? And hopefully the relationship over time will change and grow and mature, and people will let their more authentic inner child out to play in the world. And sometimes we get in relationships or friendships and, we can be in them for a really long time. But when it can get to be where either we've changed and we've done some of that inner work, that can be when other people don't like to be in a relationship with us. Sometimes there's people whose idea of a relationship is that I like you to view me as this loving, nurturing person in your life, whether I'm your sister, your friend, or a romantic interest. And this is how I like to do relationships. And it can work like that for a really long time until you work through some of your past pain, heartbreak, and self-limiting beliefs. Then you've changed. You're not the same person you were before. And you might not be looking for someone to play that type of role in your life anymore, even though they might be a very loving, nurturing person to a degree, which might be why you like to be in a relationship with them to begin with. But you could be looking for to move forward differently, where I'm not like the child and you're the parent, and I'm like the student and you're the teacher. Now I want to move forward in a more balanced way. I look at the High Honor card as like Six of Wands, Leo energy. And then when we're in any relationship, it's always about negotiating the relationship to a degree. And some people could be inspired to now live life a little differently. I have these things that I'm just willing to maybe be more comfortable within myself, and I'm willing to put myself out there more where maybe before I wasn't. And that's when sometimes some people don't want to move forward with you in that way because, again, well, like, you've changed and you're not the same person you were, and I might really like playing that role in people's lives. And I think instead of moving forward in this new way where it is different, I think maybe I'll just go find someone else. Maybe I'll go find someone else, maybe where they're not in a relationship, that might be sad, because I like to play that role in people's life. I like people to view me as this loving, nurturing person. And I think, to a degree, even loving people do that, Why aren't we in relationships with people who challenge us to heal and grow and mature ourselves? And sometimes it's like, we wouldn't think of it as that way, but why do we get in relationships and kind of get in relationships with these people who, oh, they're defensive, ooh, they're wounded, ooh, they're whatever. And in our mind, we could think, oh, I'm this loving person. I will be like a caregiver. I will nurture and love them. I'm sure they will change over time. Well, odds are probably that doesn't work out the way we think because they are the way they are for a reason. If they're defensive for a reason. If they've already decided I did not overcome whatever had gone on in my life to be a more open to love person and aligning with my more hopeful, believing nature, or not hiding kind of behind my ego nature, or these things that I might indulge in that cause problems in a relationship. Why aren't we seeing the truth of it? And it's like, I'm going to quit getting in relationships with people. Why did I play that role? Why? And a part of it can be that was a pattern of yours. I'm used to dealing with people who act in these certain ways. That's my comfort zone. I might not used to be being in relationships with people who treat me the way I treat them. That's kind of uncomfortable. Like, I'm waiting for you to be kind of bossy or controlling or something, because that's the kind of people I'm used to being in a relationship with. But odds are 50% of the people at any given moment in time are kind of aligned with their more hopeful, believing nature. The other 50% aren't. Why aren't we getting in relationships with the people who really are on the same page as us? And part of it is it does challenge us to be in a relationship with someone who also challenges us to grow and mature and heal. When we're in relationships with people where we're like the loving person and they have these issues they're dealing with, then it can, it can kind of be, I think, being in our ego in a way. Then if it doesn't work out, oh, well, they have those things. I put in so much work and effort, and so it can kind of be us in our ego, and we're maybe kind of deceiving ourselves. Why aren't we getting in a relationship with someone who's on the same page as us? And I think, again, I don't think a lot of people don't consciously think of it that way, and that isn't their intention. But eventually, when you keep getting in relationships with people who aren't on the same page as you, and it isn't working out the way you thought, eventually it's like, oh my God, I need to wrap my brain around this game of life. And I need to figure out, why do I get in relationships with people like this? Why don't I not get in relationships with people who are like that? And go invest my time, energy, and effort into people who do seem to be on the same page as me. And part of it can be because, there are these things that we wanted in the world. We wanted to be in a relationship. Maybe somebody who was on the same page as us wasn't around. We didn't meet anybody who was like that. And then sometimes we can get ourselves tangled up in a relationship that wasn't meant for us, which is what some people are in right now. And they're sad. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children. And then It's like, this isn't aligned with my truth. And some people feel imprisoned in it. And then they're kind of in their ego, in the false person, about getting out of it. People will judge me. Well, and then there's some people purposely trying to get people in a relationship with them, knowing they don't plan to bring the dream into reality in truth and love and justice and fairness. Know that they're immature or have these issues or bossy or controlling or more about ego and image. And they're hoping by the time the people find out the truth, they won't leave because they don't want to be judged. This looks good by worldly standards. Won't you stay imprisoned in it anyway? And I think high vibe energy, there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. If we realize we've grown and changed and matured and other people aren't, if we realize that maybe I didn't listen to my intuition, maybe I was more codependent, blah, 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 whatever it is, are we willing to speak our truth? Judge away, world, because the world's going to judge you no matter what. So am I going to live my authentic life? Am I going to speak my truth? Some people are. Some people emotionally could be putting in this work right now to get out of this more worldly view of life and what they think is just and fair, to align with their more hopeful, believing nature, and to look at life from a higher perspective. And that if I keep operating more from my pride or my ego or my fear or my codependency, it's going to keep me imprisoned. And there's going to be people that are happy that I keep staying in relationship with them. And for some people, that's why some of the people in your life do kind of act in these shadowy ways, because they don't want you to keep loving and believing in yourself. They don't want you to change because they don't plan on changing. They want you to do it the way they do it. If they were motivated to move forward with you in a more just and fair and loving way, they would. And then sometimes that's the truth we need to see. Are the people that I'm in relationship with, are they encouraging me to love and believe in myself, to grow to my full potential, to free myself from my fears and my insecurities and my self-limiting beliefs? Who are the people in my life who do, and who are the people who don't? Who are the people who put a lot of work and effort to get me up in my head, to keep me in my fear, to keep me in my defensive nature, to be distrustful of loving myself or believing in myself or aligning with people in my life who are loving and encouraging of me? And some of you have been in relationships with people who are like that, and you saw the truth of all these things that manipulate them, and other people in their life who manipulate them. And sometimes it's not until we see sometimes it takes those third parties in people's lives to make us see the truth. People would not align with other people in the world and kind of exchange resources with them if there wasn't a part of them that aligned with that. And sometimes that's the thing that makes us see the truth. And we can be sad about it because we love them. We wanted them to love and believe in themselves. We wanted them to move forward with us in a just and fair and loving relationship. But the whole thing is, it's kind of like God also uses other people in people's lives. People have to decide, what is your truth? What are you going to align with? And sometimes, we can all be tempted all the time in the world by different things. And God knew that some of the people, you high vibe people, were ready to give birth to something new. And some of the people in your life weren't. So God used some other people in their life to maybe tempt them with the false person to align with them in some way, to operate from their ego, to maybe do some hurtful, unkind things for you to see the truth. Because prior to that, you maybe weren't wanting to see the truth. Well, if it's an unjust, unfair situation and your dream is never going to come into reality, and you are ready and on track to go to like the next level of life in a way, and God knows that the other people aren't, God will use those people to try to make this person choose what is their truth. And some of those people didn't choose love. And it was all to see then if we would stay in despair and regret and sadness and imprisoned, or if we would love ourselves to free ourselves to give birth to something new. Are you going to let people who are in shadowy energy stop you from loving and believing in your dreams? It's not to give up our dreams, because our dreams aren't codependent on certain people being in our life. It's just having people who are on the same page at the same time as us, who are motivated and inspired by the same things we are, and to see who is and who isn't. And as some of you are moving forward, some of the people who maybe didn't act in a just and fair manner, weren't telling the truth, were tempted by something, yeah, or even people in their life that they love that, they're not willing to become independent from. Some of those people could be sad because you're giving birth to something new and they repeated an old pattern. And some of those people might have some people in their life that think it's just and fair to control these people. And part of it is because in their philosophy of life, they kind of aren't willing to free themselves, and they are more codependent, or they are more about ego and image, or they are, about something, Let's skip to what's coming up. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming up? It has to do with this card, and the reason is because of the Six of Cups. This takes time. The Five of Cups in Scorpio energy does talk about those deep, confusing emotions and diverse, conflicting emotions that we can have towards people. And it can take a lot of work and effort emotionally to detach from people. We can end hanging out with people, but it can take a long time emotionally to really be ready to give birth to something new. And what some people don't see coming is they will get to a place of having reconciled themselves with the past, is what the Six of Cups can talk about, which is also Scorpio energy. And the thing is, because the high vibe people offered love to the situation, I wanted other people to heal and love and grow themselves. And it could have, because of that, it could have taken me a long time, even though I could have gotten out of a relationship with them, to emotionally be able to really come to a place of peace about it, accepting that they are where they're at. They aren't ready to move forward in life any differently, and they may never be ready to move forward in life any differently. And maybe, Scorpio energy can talk about some people do want deep, meaningful relationships. Some people don't. Some people are connected in their emotions, and we are an emotionally complex human being. And some people do work through those things, and other people are like, oh, that's too confusing. I just would rather even keep them buried underneath the surface, and I'd rather live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, and I don't even want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. I find it confusing. It's just not even how I want to live my life. And they could be okay with a more superficial life and making their life more about just being in a relationship or just getting married, just for more of the ego and the image, because they kind of keep their more loving, authentic nature imprisoned, and they do operate more from their egoic nature. They gave up living their more authentic, hopeful, believing life to live a life from more of defensive ego, or make it more about them, or more about money and materialism. And they figure they can move forward victoriously that way. There is consequences for our decisions, is kind of what the courthouse or the judgment card talks about. We reap what we sow. And some people might get in relationships and move forward in relationships and marriages, but it could feel like it's more like a job. And if they get in a relationship with someone who's kind of like themselves, well, they also might be people who haven't dealt with some issues from their past and who are also maybe more codependent and who also might be kind of immature and might be more about the ego or the image and maybe aren't very authentic and warm and loving and could be kind of defensive and, want to be in a relationship more for the look like they've moved on, like they've grown and healed and matured themselves too, but they haven't. And we could have two people who are imprisoned by their ego, or making their life about the world and status and image and money and materialism. And for some of those people, who might try to present themselves as being a more high vibe person, like, I'm not selfish, I'm not greedy, I'm not materialistic, but they are. Eventually people come to see the truth. And they might have other people who they could have known throughout their life that from their past who maybe also see that, you're not who I thought you were. Anyway, high vibe people are going to come to peace about the past. Why? Because of this card. And there might be people in your life who don't understand how you came to terms with this, because they've had people probably treat them like this in their life too, that were bossy or controlling or hurtful or unkind. And some of those people became kind of a shadowy, defensive person themselves and did give up on loving and believing in themselves and believing in their dreams. And some of those people did these hurtful, unkind things, wanted other people to do these hurtful, unkind things to you because they wanted you to be sad. Some people didn't like that you love and believe in yourself, that you are more authentically yourself in the world, where they might be a more fake, superficial person. And they wanted you to be in the same energy that they are, because that's the energy they're in. If they get in relationships more for pride or ego or an image, they don't like it that you are more authentic than them, that you're more loving than them, that you're more balanced than them, more emotionally mature than them. And these people don't understand because they've never done this. They have issues from their past that they don't deal with. So the past always keeps them tipped out of balance, keeps them taking action more out of pride or ego or envy or jealousy or pettiness or revenge or something like that. And they don't understand how you did this because they haven't been able to do that. Well, you quit aligning with this energy in a shadowy way, and you are willing to cut people out of your life that wanted you to keep staying in that energy. Maybe because they, to some degree, were in harnessing this energy in a shadowy way. And that's something these people might not be willing to do. They could have people in their life that act in these shadowy ways, but they keep investing in those people. They keep aligning with those people as a friend, making them the priority people in their life instead of becoming independent of them. And what they don't know is you're harnessing this energy in a high vibe way. The Chariot. So in shadow, the Chariot can be, which is Cancer energy, where people can use their emotions more manipulatively in a relationship and more kind of caught either to move forward in life, to look victorious in life, to get people to get in relationships with them. But it is more of a facade, and it's more about the ego and the image of it. Getting caught up, I'm sad, I want to get in a new relationship. Let's get in a new relationship. Things didn't work out, whatever, or you're just caught up in the illusion of the world. We want these certain things in life, and we haven't learned to listen to our intuition, and we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves. The reason you came to peace about this again is love, because Cancer energy is emotional water sign energy about love and self-love. You did get in the driver's seat of your own life. You took the reins of your dualistic nature and said, I'm not going to indulge poor behavior in myself or in others. I'm going to hold myself and other people accountable. And I'm not going to take action out of pride or ego or pettiness or competitiveness or revenge or whatever. And they don't realize that love is what helped you reconcile yourself with the past. And you're moving forward in an emotionally balanced way. What's coming up? Oh, and I think there's going to be people in your life that you are going to have these deep, meaningful relationships with. Some of them are people from childhood. Some of them are people in your family. Some of them are people that you've known. Some of them are people that you will meet. But the people that you're investing your time, energy, and effort into and moving forward with are the people who do equal give and take with you, who are being authentic, who are inspired by truth and love, not people who are trying to manipulate you or control you or confuse you about the truth of who they are. You're listening to your intuition about who you invest your time, energy, and effort into. And you're not going to take action out of the pride or the ego or whatever. And so some of those people that might want to be in a relationship with you can't, because they know that that's how they operate. And for some of them, you already saw the truth about them. For others, if they were to approach you, which some of them might, you're going to just meet different people in your world. And I think you're going to listen to your intuition about who has reconciled themselves with their own past, who has done this inner work to get more balance within themselves, has a philosophy of life that it is about letting love and intuition guide you versus having some view of life and relationships that's some outmoded view of relationships where the scales of justice should be tipped in their favor a little bit more. Who are the people who are trying to tempt you in your pride and in your ego and your lust and your greed, and who's being truthful and honest? What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly or shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming up? Okay. 2 cards because of the Ten of Swords. Well, for one thing, the people that were being hurtful, unkind, trying to manipulate people, trying to get people to indulge them in a relationship by being hurtful and unkind, the high vibe people have seen completed a cycle. The tens can talk about a completion of a cycle in high vibe, and when we complete the cycle in the Ten of Swords, we come out with the truth. I'm no longer emotionally confused about the past. I saw the people in my life that were hurtful, that were unkind, that were unjust, that were unfair, who was more motivated to wanting to be indulged, more driven by ego and image or materialism, to be the privileged person in a relationship. I've seen the truth of it, and it's over. And some, because for a long time we can indulge people in that behavior for a long time because we keep having hope and faith and belief that they'll change and see the truth and speak the truth and act in truth. And when they keep not doing it, we keep seeing the truth. Every day they don't speak the truth and act in truth and reveal the truth and be more just and fair is another day that we see the truth that that's not who they are. Even though initially, some people right now who are shadowy are trying to create this illusion that maybe because of past pain and heartbreak, that's why they have these fears and insecurities of moving forward. maybe in a more formal commitment. But for some, that's just a scam. Poor, poor, pitiful me. And again, try to present themselves as this stable, grounded person, but they're deceiving people to get them to exchange time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses with them. It works for them. As long as they don't see through the illusion and the manipulation and the lies, they'll keep moving forward and they'll keep indulging in the relationship. It works for them. It's good for their ego. It looks good for their image. It looks like they've gotten in a new relationship, like they're moved on. Until the people do start to listen to their intuition and see the truth that these people aren't who they said they were. They lied. They weren't telling the truth. Maybe because they were manipulative and bossy and controlling or something, that people left a relationship with them. So they didn't see that coming. And again, same thing with these cards. They don't understand how you did this. Before, you could have been more caught up in the world too, kind of not connected in with your emotions and your intuition as much to guide you as you let your worldly nature guide you, because we all want these things that we want to manifest in our life and that we want to have in our life. But you did those things, and it can just be, I took this job, I indulged in these things of the world, I got in this relationship, I got in this marriage, I got in this friendship. And as time went by, I realized that wasn't aligned with my truth. And we come into contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. And we realized that wasn't our truth. And we were willing to emotionally detach from those things and those people because we did do this inner work to see the truth and to heal and grow and mature ourselves and love and believe in ourselves. And we weren't going to stay imprisoned by something that we didn't think was aligned with our truth. If other people want to live their life whatever way, there's all different ways to live your life. Is that my truth or isn't it my truth? And some people said, this isn't my truth. At one time I thought it was, but something could have happened in this relationship that made me realize it wasn't. And I have these other people in my life that I think are on the same page as me, and those are the people I'm going to keep moving forward with, whether you're in a romantic relationship or not. But there could be a friend or a family member that isn't coming with you. If you think they're a more emotionally shallow or superficial or have this black and white way of thinking or intimidating and controlling and maybe more about whatever these things of the world could be, that's not your truth. And what they don't know is that you have emotionally detached and you have learned these lessons in life. They don't understand how you're moving forward the way you're moving forward because they've never done that in their life. They've never detached from their more worldly view of life to maybe align with their more hopeful believing nature. So they don't understand how you do what you do. Another thing they might not see coming is there might be someone else who makes them an offer to want to be in a relationship with them. And again, people could want to be in a relationship with them, like people do. A relationship I was in didn't work out the way I wanted. I'm looking to get in a relationship. If this is another loving person and this person does the same thing again, that relationship's going to end. If they get in a relationship with someone like themselves, well, that relationship either could end or they could stay in it, because if what's most important to them is, I just want to be in a relationship so it looks like I've moved on. I just want to be in a relationship where by worldly standards it looks like I'm moving forward victoriously and successfully, and I think people will view me as that. I'm willing to be in a relationship even if I feel I've completely backstabbed myself. If the most important thing to me is to look like I have a certain status or image, or I look victorious in some way, they'd probably be willing to stay in, and that's why sometimes some shadowy people should think you should be willing to stay in a relationship with them, even if you feel backstabbed and betrayed, because that is how they view life. If they were able to get in a relationship with someone who had some of those things, more of the world that they want, they would stay in a relationship with them because that's what's most important to them. The ego, the image, the status. They might end up getting in a relationship with someone who comes into their life where they do feel backstabbed and betrayed. And it's like, so you don't want to do love, huh? You're kind of really about your ego and your image? I like getting in a relationship with people like you. So if we have the right image and status and whatever, you're not going to leave, right? Perfect. Let's get married. And they could end up in a relationship with someone who makes them feel imprisoned. But if that person is willing to stay in a relationship with them, or that person has the status or the image, or that person is willing to indulge them in some way, even if they don't love them, even if the other person isn't loving to them, even if they know the only reason that person is in a relationship and staying in a relationship with them is for the ego or the image or the money or the status, that could be how they view life. That's why people get in relationships, right? It isn't about love. We have to be practical here. And some people are willing to stay in those situations, and that's why some of those people can be mad when you want to do life differently and be more about being creative and inspired and more authentic. It's like, what? Get back over here. That is ridiculous. Get over here. This is how life works. And you should stay in this no matter what because of these reasons. I'm not going to stay somewhere where I feel backstabbed and betrayed. You might. I'm not. Enjoy your life. I'm going to go find people that have freed themselves from their more worldly, egoic view of life and relationships who want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. Who are exchanging their more worldly, egoic, false person view of life to get out of their ego and be free to live their authentic life. Judge away, world. I really don't care what you think. What's most important is, do I have enough? And for some people, enough is never enough. And other people are like, enough is enough. Do I have stability and security and be able to enjoy some finer things in life? And do I have loving, encouraging, supportive people? I think I am rich beyond measure. And other people are like, enough is never enough. And I need to go have more. It's like, okay, I don't think it's going to work out the way you think. And some people could have, if they're trying to deceive and manipulate people to get what they want, they're either going to stay in a relationship where they feel backstabbed and betrayed, or they're, other people are going to listen to their intuition and they're not going to stay in the relationship with them. And then some of the people who knew that, gee, I had these loving, encouraging relationships, and I let that go because I was more focused on my ego and my image and my status, or someone indulging me or whatever. And then look what I got. That's what happens. The devil lies. We listen to those things. The devil lies and things don't turn out the way we want. And by the time some of them realize that, other people have moved on into new relationships. And some of us, by the time we realized it, some of the people that, gee, I could have pushed away that were loving and were people I could have that relationship, some of those people have moved on in new relationships. But high vibe people don't give up on their dreams. My dreams aren't codependent on a certain person. I am going to manifest my dreams into reality. I'm just going to go live and enjoy my life and believe the divine has a plan for my life. And I'm going to find the people who are on the same page as me. And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my life, only investing my time, energy, and effort into people who are authentic and warm and loving and supportive and encouraging and just and fair. And if that's what I align with within myself, odds are I will move forward with people who are on the same page as me. And I think judgment will go in my favor. And I don't think it'll go in favor of the people who were being deceptive and manipulative. So there you go, Leo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.